The invitation had arrived 3 weeks ago, embossed letters on cream cardstock. Patricia Morrison cordially invites you to celebrate 25 years of the Riverside Garden Club. My mother had called the same day. Michael, I'm having a party, she'd said without preamble. June 15th. You should come. Should I? It would mean a lot to me. All my friends will be there and I'd like them to meet my son. What she meant was, I'd like to show my friends I have a son, even if he's not the son I wanted. I was 29 years old and my mother had been disappointed in me for at least 20 of those years. The disappointment had started early, when I chose state school over Princeton, when I majored in mathematics instead of law, when I moved to a studio apartment in Queens instead of staying in Greenwich. I'll be there, I told her. Now, standing in the marble foyer of my parents' house on the Connecticut shoreline, I wondered if I'd made a mistake. Through the French doors I could see the party in full swing. Women in designer dresses, men in blazers and khakis, champagne flutes catching the afternoon sunlight. Michael. My sister Amanda appeared at my elbow, immaculate in a white linen dress that probably cost more than most people's monthly rent. You actually came. Mom invited me. She invited you out of obligation. There's a difference. Amanda looked me over with barely concealed disdain. Is that what you're wearing? I glanced down at my khakis and button-down shirt. What's wrong with it? Nothing if you're going to a job interview at H&R Block. These are Mom's closest friends, Michael. The Vanderbilts are here. The Ashworths. Catherine Rothschild flew in from London. I'll try not to embarrass you. Too late for that. She sighed dramatically. Just try to keep a low profile, okay? Don't mention your night job. It's humiliating enough that you work in janitorial services without you broadcasting it to Greenwich society. She swept away before I could respond, leaving me standing alone in the foyer. Through the windows I could see my mother holding court on the terrace, surrounded by her friends. She was laughing at something, her hand resting on the arm of a distinguished-looking man I didn't recognize. I stepped outside into the June heat. The garden was spectacular, Mom's pride and joy, maintained by a team of professional landscapers. White roses climbed trellises, hydrangeas bloomed in massive clusters, and a string quartet played softly near the pool house. Michael. Mom spotted me immediately. Her smile was bright but didn't quite reach her eyes. Everyone, this is my son Michael. The group turned to look at me with polite interest. There were 8 of them, women in pearls and men with practiced handshakes. Michael works in the city, Mom continued, her tone carefully neutral. He has a very unique schedule. What do you do, young man? Asked the distinguished gentleman, extending his hand. I'm Robert Ashworth. I shook his hand. I manage investments. Investments? He brightened. Which firm? Before I could answer, Mom laughed. A tinkling, nervous sound. Oh, Michael's being modest. He works in facilities management. Office buildings mostly. Facilities management? One of the women, dripping in diamonds, looked confused. That's quite a pivot from investments. He cleans offices at night, Amanda said, appearing with a champagne flute in each hand. She gave one to our mother. It's all he can handle, really. Michael was never very ambitious. The group's interest evaporated instantly. Polite nods replaced engaged expressions. Someone mentioned the weather. The conversation moved on. I stood there for a moment, then quietly excused myself and walked toward the pool house. Inside, away from the party, I pulled out my phone. 47 new emails in the past hour. 3 from my chief investment officer, 2 from my legal team, 1 from my accountant marked urgent. I was responding to the most critical messages when Mom found me 20 minutes later. There you are, she said, slightly breathless. Michael, you can't just disappear. People will think you're rude. People think I'm a janitor. I doubt they'll notice if I'm here or not. Her face tightened. Don't be dramatic. There's nothing wrong with honest work. No, there isn't. But you're ashamed of it anyway. I'm not ashamed. I just wish you'd applied yourself more. Your father and I paid for your education. At a state school, yes. Because Princeton was too expensive for someone with my grades. If you'd studied harder. I graduated summa cum laude with a double major in mathematics and economics. And look where it got you. Cleaning offices. She shook her head. Your sister graduated from Yale and went straight to Goldman Sachs. She makes $400,000 a year. She has a beautiful apartment in Tribeca. She dates a neurosurgeon. I'm aware of Amanda's accomplishments. You email me her achievements quarterly. I'm just saying you could have done more with your life. You're 29, Michael. At your age, your father had already made partner at his firm. My phone buzzed. A text from James, my CFO. Bloomberg wants statement on Q2 performance. Up 34%. Thoughts? I silenced the phone. Are you even listening to me? Mom asked. Every word. I'm a disappointment. I haven't lived up to my potential. Amanda's perfect. Did I miss anything? Don't be cruel. I'm not being cruel. I'm being accurate. She studied me for a long moment, her expression softening slightly. I worry about you. You're alone in that tiny apartment, working nights, never dating, never socializing. It's not healthy. I'm fine, Mom. You're not fine. You're wasting your life. She straightened her shoulders. Now come back to the party. Catherine wants to meet you. She's being polite because she's my friend, so please don't embarrass me by talking about janitorial work. We returned to the terrace where the party had grown. At least 60 people now filled the garden, all perfectly dressed, all perfectly comfortable in their wealth and status. Michael. A woman in a lavender dress waved me over. I'm Catherine Rothschild. Your mother has told me so much about you. Has she? She mentioned you work unusual hours. Night shifts, is it? Sometimes. How fascinating. I don't think I've ever met anyone in the cleaning industry before. Her tone suggested this was not a gap she'd been eager to fill. Is it steady work? Very steady. Well, that's good. Steady work is important. She smiled the way you'd smile at a child who'd brought you a drawing. Your mother must be very proud. Across the terrace, Mom was introducing Amanda to a group of younger guests, the children of her wealthy friends, all around my sister's age. I watched Amanda laugh and charm them, watched her casually mention her position at Goldman, watched them lean in with interest and approval. Your sister is delightful, Catherine said, following my gaze. Such an accomplished young woman. Your mother says she's being considered for VP. So I've heard. You must be very proud of her. I am. What I didn't say. Amanda made $400,000 a year. Last quarter I'd made $840 million. But who's counting? The afternoon dragged on. I was introduced to dozens of people, each interaction following the same pattern. Polite interest, Mom's embarrassed explanation of my cleaning business, sudden disinterest, hasty excuses to move along. By 4 o'clock I was standing alone near the rose garden when my father found me. He looked older than I remembered, grayer, more tired. He'd barely acknowledged me when I arrived. Your mother's upset, he said without greeting. She thinks you're being antisocial. I'm being ignored. There's a difference. He sighed. Michael, I know you think we're hard on you, but we only want what's best. What's best or what looks best? That's not fair. Isn't it? Mom literally introduced me as a janitor to a woman whose family name is on half the buildings in Manhattan. You do clean offices. I own them, Dad. I don't clean them. I own them. He blinked. What? Nothing. Never mind. No, what did you mean? You own what? Before I could answer, someone called his name from the terrace. He looked torn, then patted my shoulder. We'll talk later. Try to mingle, okay? And maybe don't mention the night work to anyone else. It's a bit awkward. He walked away and I pulled out my phone again. A message from my communications director. CNN wants interview about fund performance. This quarter's returns are generating serious media interest. Confirm. I typed back. Not yet. Wait for the right moment. Michael Morrison? A male voice behind me. I turned to find a man in his mid-30s, expensive suit, expensive watch, expensive haircut. Everything about him screamed hedge fund. Yes. Thomas Bradford. I'm with Apex Capital. He shook my hand firmly. I heard you work in facilities management? Something like that. Interesting pivot. Most people in FM don't come from academic backgrounds. Your mother mentioned you studied mathematics. I did. Where? SUNY Stony Brook. His interest flickered and died. Not an Ivy League school, not worth pursuing. Well, good luck with everything. He started to walk away then paused. Actually, do you handle commercial properties? Apex is looking for a new cleaning service for our offices. I don't think we're a good fit. Pity. Well, nice meeting you. He disappeared into the crowd and I felt my phone buzz again. This time it was Sarah, my executive assistant. Sir, the Wall Street Journal is running a profile on you tomorrow. Thought you should know before it hits newsstands. My stomach tightened. Tomorrow? I thought we had another week. They moved up the timeline. Something about competing with the Bloomberg piece. I closed my eyes. This was going to complicate things. By 6 o'clock the party showed no signs of winding down. If anything, more people had arrived. The younger crowd, the ones who worked in finance and tech, coming straight from their offices in Manhattan. I was hiding in the library, responding to increasingly urgent emails when Amanda found me. Seriously, she said. You're on your phone at Mom's party? I'm working. Working. Right. Checking your cleaning schedule. Something like that. He sat down on the leather sofa, studying me. Why do you even come to these things? You clearly hate it. Mom invited me. Mom invited you because she felt obligated. Because her friends ask about you and it's embarrassing to admit she has a son who cleans offices for a living. Is that what you tell your friends at Goldman? That your brother is a janitor? Her face flushed. I tell them you're figuring things out. How generous. What do you want me to say, Michael? That you're living up to your potential? That Mom and Dad are proud of you? I want you to tell the truth. The truth is you're 29 and cleaning toilets. I looked at her. My sister, who I'd once been close to before college and careers in life had pushed us onto different paths. Is that really what you think I do? What else would you be doing? My phone rang. Not buzzed, rang. Full volume, echoing in the quiet library. I glanced at the screen, CNN main desk. You should get that, Amanda said sarcastically. Maybe it's your supervisor. I answered. Michael Morrison. Mr. Morrison, this is Daniel Chen from CNN Business. We're preparing to run a breaking news segment on Meridian Capital Management. As the fund's founder and managing partner, we'd like your comment on this quarter's returns. Amanda's eyes widened. I watched her expression shift from confusion to disbelief. What specifically are you asking about? I said calmly. Your fund returned 34% this quarter, bringing total assets under management to $12.3 billion. That makes you the youngest hedge fund manager in history to break the $10 billion threshold. Can you comment on your investment strategy? I'd prefer not to comment at this time. We're going live with the story in 10 minutes with or without your statement. This is a courtesy call. I appreciate that. No comment. I hung up. Amanda was staring at me like I'd grown a second head. What, she whispered, was that? A journalist. About a hedge fund. About your hedge fund. Yes. You run a hedge fund. I do. How big? Her voice cracked. He said $12 billion. $12 billion. $12.3 billion as of market close today. She stood up, then sat down, then stood up again. You're lying. This is some kind of joke. It's not a joke. But you clean offices. No. I own office buildings. 17 of them, actually. In Manhattan, Boston, and D.C. The facilities management comment was Mom's interpretation of commercial real estate portfolio. Amanda's face had gone white. I don't understand. It's pretty straightforward. I started my fund 7 years ago with money I made day trading during college. Built it slowly, carefully. Made some good calls during the pandemic. Grew assets under management. Hired a team. The usual. The usual, she repeated faintly. The usual for building a $12 billion hedge fund at 29. $12.3 billion. He sank back onto the sofa. Does Mom know? No one knows. I keep a low profile. Why? Because I prefer privacy. Because I don't need the attention. Because my work speaks for itself. Your work, she laughed, a slightly hysterical sound. Your work is managing $12 billion. And we thought you were a janitor. You thought I was a janitor. I never said I was. But you let us believe it. I corrected Mom multiple times. She heard what she wanted to hear. Amanda pulled out her phone, fingers flying. Meridian Capital Management. Founder. Michael J. Morrison. Oh my God. Oh my God, Michael, you're all over the financial news. Forbes has you on their 30 under 30-foot list. The Wall Street Journal called you the most mysterious success story in modern finance. I saw that article. And you said nothing. For years. What was I supposed to say? Actually, I'm wildly successful. Please respect me. That's not how I operate. He was scrolling frantically now. Your fund returned 89% last year. The year before that, 76%. These are insane numbers, Michael. People would kill for these returns. We have a strong team and a solid strategy. A solid strategy, she repeated. You're the biggest success story in our family's history and you call it a solid strategy. Amanda. Do you know what this means? Do you have any idea? I've been bragging about my Goldman salary for years. Throwing it in your face every chance I got. And you make, she looked at her phone doing quick math, management fees on $12 billion. Jesus Christ, Michael, you make more in a month than I'll make in my entire career. It's not a competition. Yes, it is. It's always been a competition. Mom and Dad comparing us, me being the golden child, you being the disappointment. Except you were never the disappointment. We were just too stupid to see it. From outside the library I could hear the party continuing. Laughter, music, the clink of glasses. In here my sister was having what appeared to be an existential crisis. We have to tell Mom, she said suddenly. No. Michael, we have to. She's out there right now, probably telling people about your janitorial business. Let her. Are you insane? You can't just. A commotion from the living room cut her off. Raised voices, sudden movement. We both stood up and walked to the library door. In the living room someone had turned up the television. CNN was on, and the chirp at the bottom of the screen read, "Breaking news. Mystery hedge fund manager revealed." My face filled the screen. A professional photo from a conference I'd spoken at last year. The anchor's voice carried through the house. Michael Morrison, the 29-year-old founder of Meridian Capital Management, has been revealed as the manager behind one of the most successful hedge funds in history. With $12.3 billion in assets under management and consistent triple-digit returns, Morrison has achieved what most managers spend lifetimes pursuing. The party had gone completely silent. Every single person was staring at the screen. Morrison has been notoriously private, the anchor continued, rarely giving interviews and maintaining almost no public profile. But sources close to the fund confirm that this young man, who lives modestly in Queens and commutes to his Manhattan office via subway, has revolutionized modern quantitative trading strategies. The camera cut to a financial analyst. What Michael Morrison has accomplished is simply unprecedented. To build a fund of this size with these returns at his age, there's no comparable achievement in modern finance. Mom's champagne flute slipped from her hand, shattering on the terrace stone. Dad had gone completely pale. Catherine Rothschild was staring at the screen, then at my mother, then back at the screen. That's... Someone said. Is that Patricia's son? Amanda walked out of the library, stood in the doorway where everyone could see her and said loudly, yes. That's our brother Michael. The one who cleans offices. The camera was now showing B-roll of my office building in Manhattan. A sleek glass tower in the financial district. Morrison's fund operates from here, the anchor explained, where a team of 53 analysts and traders manages what has become one of the most sought-after investments in the world. The fund is currently closed to new investors, with a waiting list of over 200 institutions. 200 institutions, someone in the crowd whispered. Thomas Bradford, the Apex Capital guy who'd offered me a cleaning contract, looked like he might be sick. The segment continued. Morrison studied mathematics and economics at SUNY Stony Brook, where he began developing the algorithmic trading strategies that would later define his fund. Despite his youth, he's known in the industry as the Oracle, for his uncanny ability to predict market movements. Mom had sat down heavily in one of the terrace chairs. Her friends surrounded her, a mix of shocked and fascinated. The anchor concluded. Morrison declined to comment for this story, maintaining the privacy that has defined his career. But with returns like these, his silence speaks volumes. This is Daniel Chin, CNN Business. The segment ended. For exactly 5 seconds nobody moved. Then everyone moved at once. My phone started ringing. Mom's phone. Amanda's phone. Dad's phone. Everyone's phones all at once as the news spread through social networks and group chats. I walked out of the library through the crowd of staring people, and out onto the terrace where my parents sat frozen. "Hi, Mom," I said quietly. "Sorry to interrupt your party." She looked up at me, her face a mixture of shock, horror, and something that might have been shame. "Michael, that was you?" "Yes. But you told me you worked in facilities." "No, I said I managed commercial properties. You assumed I cleaned them." Dad found his voice. $12 billion. $12.3 billion as of today's close. Catherine Rothschild appeared at my mother's elbow. "Patricia, you didn't mention your son was Michael Morrison." "The Michael Morrison?" "I didn't. I thought he was the Oracle of Wall Street," Catherine continued, her entire demeanor transformed. "My God, Patricia, do you have any idea how many people would kill for an introduction? My fund has been trying to invest with Meridian for 3 years." "Your fund is on the waiting list," I said. "Rothschild Capital. You're number 47. Her eyes widened. "You know my fund?" "I know every fund on the list. We review each one carefully before opening new slots. Could we perhaps discuss?" "No," I said simply. "I don't mix business with social occasions." Robert Ashworth pushed through the crowd. "Michael, I apologize for earlier. I had no idea who you were. Ashworth Industries would be very interested in discussing investment opportunities. We're close to new investors. But surely for a family friend. Especially for family friends." Thomas Bradford from Apex Capital appeared, looking desperate. "Mr. Morrison, about what I said earlier about the cleaning service. You were looking for someone to clean your offices." "I'm not that person." "Of course I understand, I just meant. You meant you thought I was a janitor and treated me accordingly. Now you know I'm not, and you're treating me differently. That tells me everything I need to know about you." His face flushed red and he backed away into the crowd. The party had completely transformed. Where an hour ago people had ignored me, now they surrounded me. Everyone wanted to talk, to apologize, to network, to impress. It was suffocating. "Excuse me," I said, pushing through toward the house. Amanda caught my arm in the foyer. "Where are you going?" "Home." "You can't leave. Mom's having a breakdown. Dad looks like he's about to have a heart attack. And every person out there wants a piece of you. Which is exactly why I'm leaving." "Michael." She gripped my arm tighter. "I'm sorry. For everything. 4 years of treating you like a failure. For being condescending. For thinking I was better than you. You were doing what you were taught to do. What Mom and Dad reinforced every time they praised your Goldman salary and mourned my night work. That's not an excuse. No, it's not. But it's an explanation." I gently removed her hand from my arm. "I need to go. My team is probably in crisis mode and I have calls with Tokyo and London in 3 hours. Will you come back? To see them?" She gestured toward the terrace, where Mom sat surrounded by her friends, all of them talking at once. "Eventually. But not tonight." I walked to my car, a 5-year-old Honda Civic that I'd bought used and maintained carefully. It was parked at the end of the driveway, surrounded now by Mercedes, BMWs and Teslas. As I pulled away, I could see people still gathered on the terrace, all staring after me. My phone was ringing nonstop. Journalists, investors, former college classmates I hadn't spoken to in years. I drove back to Queens in silence, thinking about the look on my mother's face when she realized that her janitor son managed more money than everyone at her party combined. When I got home to my modest studio apartment, 900 square feet, kitchen the size of a closet, bathroom that barely fit a shower, I made myself dinner. Pasta with vegetables. Nothing fancy. My phone kept buzzing. Messages piling up. "Mom, Michael, please call me. We need to talk." "Dad, son, I don't know what to say. Come home so we can discuss this." "Amanda, you're trending on Twitter. Hashtag Oracle revealed. This is insane." I ignored them all and opened my laptop. The markets in Asia were opening. I had work to do. Around midnight there was a knock on my door. I checked the peephole. Amanda, still in her white linen dress, looking exhausted. I opened the door. "How did you know where I live?" "I'm your sister. I know things." She looked around my tiny apartment. "This is really where you live?" "Yes. But you manage $12 billion. $12.3 billion. Why do you live like this? I gestured to my laptop, the 3 monitors set up on my desk, the Bloomberg terminal subscription, the shelves of books on quantitative finance and economic theory. Because this is all I need. The rest is just noise. She sat down on my second-hand couch. Mom's in shock. She spent an hour apologizing to her friends for not knowing her own son was the Oracle. Catherine Rothschild told everyone that she'd tried to invest with you for years. Half the party wanted to kill Mom for having access to you and not mentioning it. That's not my problem. No, but it's hers. And Dad's. And mine. Amanda looked at me. We treated you terribly, Michael. For years. And you just took it. Why? Because proving myself to you wasn't important. Doing the work was important. But we're your family. You're my family by biology. Respect has to be earned. She flinched. Have we lost that? Your respect. I considered the question carefully. You can earn it back. But it won't happen overnight, and it won't happen because I'm suddenly successful in a way you understand. It has to be because you genuinely value me as a person, not as a hedge fund manager or a potential business connection. How do we do that? Start by treating me the way you would have if you'd never seen that CNN segment. If you only knew me as the guy who works nights and lives in Queens. But you're not that guy. Yes, I am. I'm exactly that guy. I just also happen to manage a lot of money. She stood up, walked to the door, then turned back. For what it's worth, I'm proud of you. I know I never said that before. I know I treated you like you were beneath me. But I'm proud. And I'm sorry. Thank you. After she left, I returned to my monitors. The Tokyo market was moving. A pattern I'd been watching for weeks was finally playing out. I made 3 trades, adjusting our positions, hedging against currency fluctuations. By morning, those 3 trades would generate $47 million in profit. But that wasn't why I did it. I did it because the puzzle interested me. Because finding patterns in chaos was satisfying. Because building something real, something that worked, something that mattered, that was enough. The money was just a way of keeping score. My phone buzzed one final time. A text from Mom. Your father and I would like to take you to dinner. Please. We have so much to discuss. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed, Saturday. The diner near my apartment. 7 p.m. Not somewhere nicer? The diner. And Mom? Come because you want to see me. Not because you want to understand my fund or meet my team or impress your friends. Just me. There was a long pause. Then, just you. I promise. I set down my phone and looked out my window at the Queens skyline. Not impressive like Manhattan, not glamorous like Greenwich. Just regular buildings full of regular people living regular lives. Somewhere across the city, my mother was probably lying awake, thinking about all the times she'd dismissed me, all the parties where she'd apologized for my existence, all the years she'd wished I was different. I hoped she was also thinking about why she'd done it. About what it meant to value appearances over substance, success over character, status over truth. Because until she understood that no amount of money in my fund would change anything between us. The markets moved. I watched the numbers. And I did what I'd always done. My work in silence, letting results speak louder than words ever could.